Hello everyone, David A. Cox here with PCClassesOnline.com, and today I'm going to teach all of you all the basics that you need to know to get started using the brand new operating system for the Mac called OSX Mavericks. Now, this operating system just came out, and we all got together and went over all the new features and made a list of all the ones that we thought would be most relevant to all of you, and that's what we're going to be going over today. Now, if this is the very first time you've ever heard of our service, I hope you will check out our website at PCClassesOnline.com. We are a completely free organization, open to the public. We have members in 160 countries, and we produce a combination of live and pre-recorded classes on the Mac, PC, iPhone, and iPad, as well as other web services like how to build a website and social marketing tricks. So we're going to be going over everything you need to know with Mavericks. Let's get started. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about today is a new app that has been around for a while on the iPad and the iPhone called iBooks. And basically, it's just simply a way that you can enjoy a book while sitting at your computer. Now, what's great about the iBooks app is that if you do have an iPad, it will synchronize all of your data over. So, for example, if you have a bookmark in one book that you started reading on your iPad, you can pick right up where you left off on your Mac. So, for example, we're going to go here into the Book of Awakening, a book that I started to read a while back. I'm really bad at reading because I just lose interest after a while, but anyways, it is a good book. So, just like on the iPad, you have all of your little controls up here at the very top right. For example, if you see here where we have this little a followed by a big A, if you click on that, you'll see the controls where you can make the text larger or smaller simply by clicking on it. You can change the background color from white to sepia tone to night. And of course, you can also change the fonts right beneath it. Now, one feature I want to show all of you that some of you may not even be aware of is that you can actually use iBooks to turn it into an audio book. Here's how you do it. We're actually going to need to leave the iBooks app here just for a moment. And what you're going to do is go into the Apple icon at the very top left, go into System Preferences here, and you're going to go into down here where it says Dictation and Speech, which is on the fourth row here. Now, when you're in Dictation and Speech, you can see my voice showing up right there. You're going to go over here to Text to Speech. Now, built into the Mac are several voices, and what you can do, that sounded a lot creepier than it actually is. You can choose how you want it to sound. For example, if I choose Alex right here, I can hit play and you can hear what it sounds like.
Most people recognize me by my voice.
And you can choose other voices. Now, some of them sound more natural, and others, frankly, sound more robotic. So what we did is we went through all the different voices and found the ones that we think that you all will enjoy the most. Now, there's only about 6 that come with your Mac, but you can download more simply by clicking on Customize. And so here you can see not only voices in English, but you can also find voices in Arabic, Chinese, and a whole bunch of other languages here. Now, the ones that we found that we really liked are Alex, the one that you just heard a moment ago, Susan, Samantha, Ava here, which I could be wrong, but I believe that the Ava voice is actually the same voice as the woman who did the voice of Siri on the original iPhone 4S rather. And Tom was also a big hit. The others were just a little bit too robotic. But if you want, it's a really easy way that you can convert your textbook into an audiobook. Now, the way you actually get it to start reading is you simply go up here to where it says Edit, and under Edit you'll find it says Speech, and click Start Speaking.
January 2nd, all fall down. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Hindu invocation.
We thought you might like that. Now, other features you have up here, you have a little bookmark, which of course if you click on, when you come back, you can open right back up to where you left off. These arrows at the top right that you see are in every application on the Mac, at least the ones that are produced by Apple. And what that means is that when you click on it, it will go into full screen mode. So you are doing nothing but whatever you're in at that point. Now, for those of you who are on a laptop, you're going to need to know how to get out of full screen mode, as well as, of course, for those of you on a desktop. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can hit the escape key, okay, which will bring it back down to normal size. The other option, as I put it back to where it was, is if you just move your cursor towards the top of the screen, you'll see that it'll pop down and you have these two small blue arrows at the top right corner. If you click on that, the same thing will happen. Now, again, that is with almost every application on the Mac now. And if you have a trackpad, what you can do is when you're in the full screen mode, is you can take 3 fingers on your trackpad and swipe them from left to right, and you'll move the screen over. So you can kind of go back to that space when you want it, and then you can go back to your desktop. Let's get out of that for now. Final feature I want to go over with iBooks is over here at the top left. We have a couple of different things here. This icon right here is important, where you see the 3 dots followed by 3 horizontal lines. That just simply lets you kind of go to the different chapters. In this book, they have a chapter for every single day in the year. That's why you see it that way. Okay, the icon of the book right up here takes you back to the main library. Okay, and you can also take notes in this. So especially if you're a student, what you can do is, just like you would if this was a Word document, is you can just kind of drag your cursor over it, and when you do that, you don't even have to secondary click. You can add a note, you can highlight it in different colors, and check this out. For those of you who have maybe books that you read that are philosophical, or they just have kind of cool quotes that you want to share with your friends, there's this brand new feature when you highlight text under More, and what you can do is you can share the quote to Facebook, Twitter, iMessages, or email. Just kind of a cool little feature. Of course, you also have built-in, you can search for Wikipedia. That's more for if it's a word or a phrase. And that's about it for iBooks. The next application I would like to show you that comes built into OSX Mavericks is the brand new Maps application. Now, this is going to look very similar to those of you who are using the Maps app on the iPhone or the iPad, but bringing it to the Mac opens up a whole new realm of possibilities and features as well. Now, you can see where I am, of course, right now. We broadcast our classes from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, the very tip called Provincetown. And just like you can on the iPhone or the iPad, you can switch between standard view, which is just kind of your standard map, a hybrid, which still gives you the roads, or a pure satellite view. Personally, I like to keep it on hybrid. Now, over here at the top left, you have a few different features here. Now, this icon right here is one you're going to want to become familiar with. That is the symbol for GPS. So if I'm off in somewhere in Pennsylvania and I click that button, it's going to go right back to where I am now. Now, when you open this program, it's going to ask you permission to, of course, locate where you are. All right. The next is this little icon here of a building. And to show you what that actually is, I'm going to go to New York City. Okay, now let's zoom in a little bit here. Again, this feature is also available on the iPhone and the iPad. Okay, we'll go right in here. Now, what you can do is when you click on this button, it kind of tilt shifts everything. Technically, tilt shift isn't the right term, but what it does is it makes it 3D. So what you can do is kind of navigate around here. You can use your trackpad or your mouse to zoom in. You can rotate, and you can kind of check out the city, basically. This is very helpful if you're going to be exploring a place that you've never been to before. Gives you a real feel for everything. Now, up here at the top left, I don't know how well this one's going to actually show because I am recording this right now at 10:45 at night. But next we have a little traffic button. And so you can see if I move over here that there is some sort of a traffic delay at this point on Park Avenue South. Okay. If it was more severe, it would be a different color, but right now it looks like it's somewhat of a problem. You can get directions, okay? And to do this, I'd have to type in my current, well, it already knows my current location. Right now I have it set very generally speaking to New York. I can tell, am I going by car or walking? I think it's safe to say that I'd be taking a car. Click directions, and it'll give you a couple different alternative ways that you can get there. Now, you can print this out just by doing your standard file print. It's very clean. But there's another feature that I want to show you right now that I can't completely show you because this is a dummy account. but it's an important one for all of you to know. When you're dealing with a location, whether it's a city or a specific hotel or wherever it is you're going, you click on the little pin drop. You have this lowercase I here. For those of you who are not familiar with it, the lowercase I on the Mac is called the inspector. And what it means is when you click on it, you're going to get some additional information. So, for example, here I can just click and say here, get directions. I can add it to my bookmarks, which will synchronize with other devices. I can add it into my contacts. But you also have a little share button up here at the top right. So when I click on this, the key feature I want to share with you is one that I actually cannot show you right now. If you have an iPhone, one of the additional features that you'll have here is you can send it automatically to your phone. So that, boom, you are now using your phone as your GPS. You can do your research on your computer and use your phone as your GPS. It's kind of a cool way to plan a road trip if you want, but that is a new feature. That is basically it for the Maps application. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go over, there is one other little thing that I want to mention. Let's say I want to find Italian restaurants in New York. Okay? Now, because I'm so far zoomed out, it's not going to give me a giant selection here. If I was zoomed in more, it would give me a lot more. Now, what I want you to notice here isn't the fact that it gave me restaurants. What I want you to notice is that A, it is giving me reviews and where those reviews are coming from. For any of you with a small business, I'm going to make a very, very strong recommendation. If you have not already done so, join PCClassesOnline.com, free service, no charges of any kind, and take our class on social media for small business. One of the things we talk about is the importance of using Yelp. Yelp is a service similar to Google Maps, and basically what it does is it's where people can leave reviews. Now, Yelp is a very complicated social network to understand how it works and how you can use it to your advantage in terms of getting above your competition. So in terms of what did these guys do that made them number one versus, what did someone do that even didn't have them appear on this list, is all strategy. And you can manipulate it, and you can, especially if you have good contacts with your customers, you can really improve your social media reach. So I encourage you to check that out. Didn't mean to get sidetracked there. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the calendar. Now, if you have upgraded recently your phone to iOS 7, one of the classes we offered was an alternative app to the built-in calendar because, frankly, all of us hated it. Now, the calendar that comes built into Mavericks is a hell of a lot better. It's much more clean. It's very similar to the old calendar. It is very white, but it has a few features that are handy. One of which is if you are on a laptop, you can actually, or you can do it on a desktop too, as long as you have a scroll ball. You can scroll between months. So I can just flick up and down with my fingers, with 2 fingers right now. It'll clearly point out what is today's date, and I can go between the different months. So I don't have to, click a button up here just to move to the next month. Now, when you're putting in an event, I put a dummy event here just before we started this class, saying that I was going to go to the theater in Boston tomorrow. I'm going to delete it and redo it so all of you can see this process. When you create an event, you just simply double-click, okay, and you can just type. So let's say I'm going to the theater. Now below that, it has add location. Now let's say I'm going to go to the Boston Opera House. I don't actually know the address of the Boston Opera House, but the great news is I don't need to. I just start typing. And it will make a suggestion. And so boom, it pulls from Google, or technically from Apple Maps, the address, okay? And it will even show me a little map here along with the temperature in Boston at that time. And it looks like it's going to be a little chilly. So that's that. Another feature I wanted to mention, not a lot of people actually do this, but if you are the kind of person who likes to print out your calendar, I will say the way the calendar prints out, if you look at it right now, is pretty clean. It is very similar to the way the old one worked, but it's really handy if you like to be able to do that. Now, you also, of course, have up here daily view, weekly view, and as we were just on, monthly view or yearly. That is no different than the previous version. So basically, the calendar gets an A+ for being basically the same thing. That's it for calendar. Next, a feature that I can't really show you on this so much is the ability to use multiple displays with your computer. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier is the fact that you can take something like, let's say, Safari, and you can put it into full screen mode by simply clicking on the 2 arrows here at the top right. So when you do that, boom, you're doing absolutely nothing but full screen work right now. The important feature I want to bring up about this is that when you're using multiple displays, you can do full screen mode, 2 different screens on 2 different monitors. The other feature that's really nice is that for those of you who have Apple TV, you can actually use your high definition television as a second monitor. So you don't necessarily have to mirror your computer screen to your TV. You can use it as a second monitor if you want. Might save you a little bit of money over having to buy a second display. The next new feature we're going to talk about is added tabs into the Finder window. So if I'm in Finder, and let's say I have a file that is in my Downloads folder and I want to move it into Documents, pretend I did not have this shortcut right here. What a lot of people would do is they would move it to the side, they go to File, they go to New Finder window. This is already starting to be a pain in the butt. Go to where you want to put it and you drag it and drop it from one place into the other. No longer do you need to do that. Now the way you can do it is simply from a Finder window, you can either go to File and hit New Tab, or the fast way, just hit Command-T, and you now have a second location here. So if I want to go from Downloads, I would just go into the second tab, move it to Documents, take my file, or in this case I'll just take an untitled folder, drag it, drop it, and voila, it's there. You can do as many tabs as you want. So if you want, you could have one for Downloads, one for Documents, one for your desktop, one for your music folder, as many as you want. Really nice way to easily navigate between your different folders. Now, the next thing I want to mention is a feature called, I always mix it up, we just talked about tabs. Now we're going to talk about tags with a G. Now, I actually discovered a little bug in Mountain Lion over this. Now, today's date is October 23rd, 2013. The reason why I'm saying that is because should you be watching this video several weeks into the future, there's a very good chance that what I'm about to show you has already been corrected. Now, if you have multiple accounts on your computer, like I have, the bug that I discovered is that through tags, you can actually access files that you should not be able to access on the other account. If you've just gotten Mavericks on yours, you'll see that it comes in different colors, red, green, blue, orange. And when you click on them, it already has dummy tags kind of assigned to files. And you will find that if you have multiple accounts, that you are able to see from one account into the other. Again, this feature is going to probably be cleared up in the next couple weeks, but I wanted to at least note it, and hopefully one of you watching this video actually works for Apple and can make that happen. So the way that you add a tag, let's just go here into a dummy document, is you click on the document itself, or it can be anything, can be a video or whatever you want, and you're going to click on this button up here at the top of your Finder window. Now, you can see here that I have a couple ones that I've added here, one called Test, one called Tutorials. If you want, you can add a new one, and you can actually add multiple tags. So let's say I want to call this one Mac. Okay? But I can also tap on Tutorials. So now, when I'm in my Finder window, I can scroll down. You can see I see tags over here at the bottom left. And when I click on Mac, there it shows up. But also, when I go into Tutorials, it shows up, along with other ones. This is great if you have a lot of documents more than anything, or just a lot of a particular type of file. I imagine lawyers would be using this feature a lot, as well as students and teachers. Next, I'm going to share with you one of my absolute favorite features of Mavericks. And to do this, I'm going to open a blank Pages document just to demonstrate. Now, in the previous operating system, Mountain Lion, Apple introduced a feature called Dictation, which would allow you to speak to your computer and magically your words would appear on the screen. This was wonderful. It was a great achievement, but there were a couple little issues. For example, you could only do it in, I believe it was 30-second increments. It would not give you a live preview of your words until you were finished talking, and you had to be connected to the internet in order to do this. Well, all of those issues have been resolved now in Mavericks, so I'm going to first show you how it works, and then I'm going to show you how to enable it on your computer. Now, you can do this in Pages, you can do this in Word, you can do this in Mail, whatever you want. It's across the entire computer. All you have to do is put your cursor wherever you want, double tap a key of your choosing. I personally use the Command key, at which point you'll see a little microphone appear on your screen and it will beep. Once it beeps, you can talk away. You'll see a live preview of your words. You can pause if you want to consider what you're saying, and then when you're done, you click a little button that will appear that says done. So let's give it a try. My name is David Cox, and I invented the world's first live virtual classroom service built specifically for baby boomers called PCClassesOnline.com. Period. Next line. This is how you dictate on OSX Mavericks. Period. So you can see, you can not just dictate the words, but you can also dictate punctuation. When I told it to go to the next line, it did it. It's a really, really cool feature. I think this opens up brand new possibilities for students, for doctors, for teachers, lawyers, anyone out there in the business world, really. Now, to get this feature, I'm going to close this document. All you have to do is go to the Apple icon at the top left of your computer, go to System Preferences. We're going to go back to where we were earlier in Dictation and Speech, and make sure that it is turned on. Now, when you first get Mavericks, this feature here is turned off. I would recommend turning it on. Enhanced Dictation refers to the part of dictation where it will do it offline and it will give you the live feedback. It is an 800, just under an 800 megabyte file, so if you don't have a lot of room on your computer, you may not be able to do this, but if you can, go for it. It's a really, really awesome feature. Finally, down here, you can dictate, you can tell the computer what you want the shortcut key to be. So in my case, I like to make it so that if I hit the Command key twice, it starts dictation, but you could use other keys too, like function, or just either the right or left Command key. And that's how you dictate in Mavericks. Now, some of you out there may have been using a social network called LinkedIn, which previously never had any real ties to the Mac. Well, now, when you go into System Preferences and go into Internet Accounts, one of the things that you will find is that LinkedIn is now possible to link into your Mac. So you can allow it to talk to your contacts, and you can share information from your Mac directly into LinkedIn, very similarly to how you can already do it with Facebook or Twitter. That's a little new improvement. Next, let's say you have a video on your computer. I don't really have one on this account. Let's pretend this one is. New feature that you have, you can share it directly from your computer to Facebook by simply clicking on it so that it's highlighted. When you're in a Finder window, you'll see the share button right here. And if this were a video, you would have an option for Facebook, just like that. Now, one little feature, let's say I have a bunch of apps running. I'm just going to open a whole bunch of them right now, all at the same time. As I'm opening and keeping all of these apps open, inevitably, some of them are going to be using more processing power than others. One new feature is that when you click on the battery up here at the very top, it's going to show you what apps are using a significant amount of energy, which in this case is ironically of all of those, the app that I'm using to teach this class. So that's a new feature. Basically, you can click on it, and if you have something running in the background that's going to decrease your battery life, you can know exactly what that is. One feature a lot of people have reported, I haven't had time personally to experiment with it, is that because Mavericks is so much more energy efficient, people are finding they are getting a lot better battery life on their laptops. I'm sure that's the case. I just do want to note that I personally haven't had time to test that feature. Now, as we start to wrap up here, a couple quick little things. The requirements that you need in order to get Mavericks is you need a computer running OSX 10.6.8 or later. That would include, for example, the mid-2007 iMac or later, a mid-2008 MacBook Air or MacBook Pro or later, or the early 2009 Mac Mini or later. The different software that we looked at that had some minimal compatibility issues included Flip for Mac. For those of you who maybe do know what Flip for Mac is, it's software that allows the Mac to open WMV files. If you are running Flip for Mac, I would strongly recommend that you delete it anyways. It used to be great. It is no longer great, in my opinion. And instead, download a free piece of software called VLC. You can simply Google it and download it. It is free, but it'll open pretty much every type of video file out there. The next issue that we did find was for people who use Adobe Creative Cloud, which it will say that it has errors. However, it actually works fine. All you have to do is close out of the program and reopen it, and it should work fine. Other programs that did report some issues are Airfoil, Audio Hijack Pro, Nicecast, and USB-powered monitors used by a company called DisplayLink were noted to have some issues. I was reading on some of the forums today, which I haven't really been able to 100% confirm. For people who are pro photographers, there has been some talk that Apple has modified the sRGB configuration. So you may, if you do pro photography, you may want to do some research on your own about that issue. Again, today is the very first day that this operating system is available. So by the time you see this, that may no longer be an issue, along with the other apps that I just read to you. Finally, there is something that I want to mention that is a feature. However, I'm not recommending it to most of our clients. Built into Mavericks is the ability to synchronize all of your passwords from your different devices. So for example, if I log into a particular website, it'll save my username and password and immediately put it into my other devices like my iPhone and my iPad. The reason why I don't recommend this is because for those of you who have been following our classes for a while now, you may have heard me in the past say that I like Chrome. Chrome is an alternative web browser to all the other ones out there. It's an alternative to Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer, but Chrome has very consistently been the best web browser for the last several years, and it will automatically save that same data without any configuration. Now, if you swear by Safari, if you disagree with me on this, that's fine. Here's how you can add the keychain syncing feature. Go back into System Preferences in the Mac, go into iCloud, and you will notice that there's a new option here for keychain. And it'll just sync that data across your various devices. Now, if you've never taken our classes before, again, we are a completely free service. Check us out on the web, pcclassesonline.com. That's the only way to get access to all of our video tutorials. We do teach a combination of free, they're all free, live and pre-recorded classes, and you can take them right from the comfort of your own home. If you have questions about your computer, about technology in general, this is the best way to get your questions answered. And it's fun, it's easy, and I think you'll enjoy it. pcclassesonline.com. For those of you who have been watching this video on YouTube, I would ask one small favor, which is that you give us the little thumbs up like button. It's always appreciated. And of course, check out our website. This is David A. Cox, the CEO and founder of pcclassesonline.com. And all of you have a wonderful day. Take care.